rise and grind. Folks, guys, I am on the way to an existing maintenance customer for double heat maintenance. Guys, this customer got a bunch of work done by us within the past 5 or 6 years. Initially, he had a gas boiler with AC only air handlers, one for the first floor and one for the second and third. He got all that ripped out and he converted from electric to gas. So now he has one gas furnace in the basement that does the first floor, and he has another gas furnace on the third floor with zone dampers that does the third and the second floor. So everything's been rocking and rolling, guys. We're just out here for the check and clean to make sure everything's rocking and rolling. I'll see y'all when I get inside. All right, guys, I just got done with the second floor furnace, which is actually on the third floor. It's right inside the home office. I had to get that done before the customer jumped on the conference call. All right, guys, this is our 90% Ducane furnace, and we've been doing the maintenance here for like the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, if not longer. And you see here, flame sensor is a little dirty. We'll clean that up. I'm gonna get my meter and I'm gonna check my igniter. I got a new filter in. Now, 16 by 20 was a recommended size, and I'm pretty sure you guys already do this, but for you guys that didn't know, customers with 16 by 20 filters, 16 by 20 will fit right inside the rack. However, the only issue with putting in same size filters is sometimes it can get stuck inside the duct, and if the customer doesn't have fingernails, like I don't have fingernails, it could be tough for them to remove the filter. So what this customer does is, instead of using 16 by 20, he uses 20 by 20. Now, I always say, to each his own. Aesthetic wise, if the customers don't want to see the filter, feel free to use a 16 by 20 filter, but you might have to use like a knife or a screwdriver to flick the filter up and out if that works for you. But if you don't want to use tools to remove your filter, like this customer don't want to, they use a 20 by 20 filter. A 20 by 20 filter can still work. You'll just have 4 inches of space on top, which gives you perfect space to remove it. So guys, I know some customers don't like seeing the filter, and it's totally fine. You can put in a 16 by 20, but you're going to run the risk of it getting stuck inside the ducts. So whichever method works well, as long as you guys got a filter in the unit, I'd rather have a bigger than normal filter versus no filter at all. But all right, guys, let me get what I need. I'll be right back. And guys, I got to go over a question someone sent me an email a couple of weeks ago. Now guys, if you had any questions, once again, I'm always around to help guys out as long as I have time to do it. If you had any questions in regards to any parts or service pertaining to like any heat or AC videos I make, feel free to drop them in a comment. You can send me an email or even shoot me a DM on Instagram. But guys, I got an email or a DM. This had to have been a couple weeks ago. I actually thought this was spam, but it wasn't. But I'm getting around to them now, guys. The guy, I believe he was a service tech. He said that he replaced the flame sensor. Well, he actually cleaned the flame sensor. He was on a no heat call. I forgot the brand of the furnace, but he said he was on a no heat call. Furnace was short cycling. He said he cleaned the flame sensor. The flame sensor was dirty. He cleaned it, and it still did the same thing. So he went to the truck, got a new flame sensor, and it did the same thing. And he pretty much got his ass kicked. And I actually didn't see this message because it showed up in the spam, but I try to respond back, guys, as quickly as I can if I see it, if I'm not ripping and running. But one thing I did, I responded back and I said, I'm like, okay, well, for one, if it's short cycling, make sure all your burners are lighting, because if all your burners aren't lighting, the issue is not going to be with the flame sensor. As I mentioned in previous videos, you might have an issue with the burners, but if the burners are all lighting and you can verify that you see flames getting to the burner right next to the flame sensor, at that point, you have to step back and say, okay, if indeed you got a brand new flame sensor in the system and it's still doing the same thing, now you have to go through your checklist, what I call your Monday morning quarterback rule. Okay, make sure you have adequate gas pressures, make sure you don't have a loose ground somewhere. It's never going to be a plug and play type of diagnosis, guys. If something doesn't work, make sure you're not going through the rabbit hole of being nearsighted. Step back and make sure, like I said, you can go through your checklist. Because the last thing you want to do is just assume that every single furnace that short cycles is a flame sensor just because you've seen one of my videos on YouTube or just because you've seen something on Google, and now you're going to be fixated on replacing flame sensors every single time, not knowing that short cycling could be a multitude of many different things, but you have to just take your time. You have to eliminate one part at a time. You just can't be fixated on flame sensor. So I responded back with a few possible scenarios, but hopefully he got that system up and going. But guys, everything I told you, either I made a mistake or I've been around someone that gave me the game and they made a mistake. But ultimately, you have to understand with service, things are not always as they seem. There's furnaces and there's bullers that can still kick my ass, guys, after 11, almost 12 years. So you just can't be too fixated. If that's one thing I can give you guys from that particular DM, and I forgot the guy's name, but I'll be sure to, like I said, be a little bit more responsive to DMs. I got to check them a little bit more often so I don't miss them. But guys, for sure, make sure, like I said, you guys are going through your checklist, and if something doesn't seem right, you don't move on. You go back and you take your time. Don't rush. Take your time and make sure that, like I said, everything's checking out before you start condemning parts or ordering parts and coming back to have the exact same problem. So, but alright guys, my flame sensor is clean and I'm gonna ohm out my igniter. I'll be right back. Alright guys, my igniter was only at 49 ohms. Just to get a quick backstory with the first floor, this customer originally had an air handler or AC only air handler over there, and it was I think it was a steam boiler over here. But originally when we converted this furnace is over on the other side of the basement, and then eventually a couple months in, this whole house got gutted and redid. Eventually he wanted the furnace moved over here because he was going to eventually make the space on the other side of the basement for something else. So this furnace has been through a bunch of debris and stuff down here. He definitely needed this furnace working before they finished the basement, but she's rocking and rolling. That's all there is to it. I got another call that literally just came in 5 seconds ago I got to get to, but there you have it. 2 Ducane furnaces, everything's rocking and rolling. We'll come back out here in the spring to make sure the AC units are working fine, and there you have it. But I gotta roll. Peace out. I'll see you guys on the next one.